Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy No Brock. I want to help you guys out here. I noticed that there's still some people struggling on the wheel to get these all-wheel drive shifter cars going, and I'm going to show you a very simple method. Okay, this works on almost every single car, with the exception of a handful. Like the big boy leaderboard cars, but every other car in the game, this is what you need to do from now on. This will get you going, okay? So as you can see here, we're in a 2000 Mustang. I'm just gonna reset my tune to default. All right. Now, let's say I just put all the parts on it, right? Or you just put all the parts on it, and now you're gonna tune it. Don't tune it. You got all the parts on. Don't tune it. Just drive it, all right? And I want you to pay attention to what your first gear does, okay? Let me take these headphones off. Now, do you see how my pedals are going crazy? Do you see how the gear just went whoosh, okay? But it hit the rev limiter, right? So, show you something here. First, now that we saw what our first gear does, first we're going to do a little bit of stuff. So this is a default tune. I'll reset it again just in case. I don't remember if I reset it or not. So it's reset. All right. I'm just going to get rid of my alignment. I'm going to get rid of my roll bars. And here's a really good tip. Stop implementing real life, real world stuff on the drag tuning in this game. You might find something randomly that works, but I'm telling you, it's trash. Real world stuff in this game is trash. Doesn't work. Like you might be able to put a final drive on and gear your car out and it works, because the final drive, I hate to tell you, but it doesn't matter. You can have your final drive almost anywhere you want and get the exact same results as long as you have enough gear to get down the track. All right. Anyway, roll bars. All we're going to do, put up our ride height. We're not going to touch our rear spring. We're not going to touch our front spring. Now, right here, what I want you to do is we're going to be rounding up and down. So we're going to go to our bump, and since we're going to look for the lowest number on our bumps, a 5.1, we're going to round that down to a 5, and we're going to keep our bump even. Okay? That's it. And for this right here, let's just leave it alone. We'll just leave it alone. We're going to get rid of the acceleration, and we're just going to slap our center diff up to 80. This suspension is the base suspension for every single quarter mile car in the entire game, with the exception of the big boy cars: Unicorn, Plymouth, Alpha 33S, 906 Porsche, right? Lotus 11, stuff that's just very different and needs different stuff. Okay. Now we got that slapped on there. Make sure it's stuck. It's stuck. Okay. We're gonna just be looking at the first gear. That's it. Focus on your first gear. Okay. Watch what it does. We want it to slingshot. That's what I like to call it. You see how that was perfect? You see how it went down and then whoosh, went up? The problem is we're hitting the rev limiter, right? So all we need to do is add some final drive to top speed. Don't even gotta touch the gear. Let's move it in a little bit. 341. Doesn't even matter. We're just looking for the first gear to do something specific. Okay? That's it. That's the launch you're looking for. So we're done with our gear, with our first gear. Now we need to see where our gear's at, because most cars are going to be a 4 gear. They're either going to be a 4 gear, they're going to be a 4.5, or they're going to be a 5 in the quarter mile. Okay, most are 4. $8.058. So what you would do from here is make your 4th gear go over the line. Okay, you want your gears wherever the finish line is, no matter what layout you're doing, wherever your finish line is, you want that last gear you're going across to be in the red line most of the time. There are some cases where you're in between gears, and so here. So we know our fifth is almost there, so let's just spread this out. Let's try 98. Let's see. I don't know if 98 is going to make it or not. And I don't use the benchmark. I use the graph. I'm looking at the graph down there. Let me just reapply these gears. When you reapply your gears, it changes your graph to be more accurate. So reapply those gears here. Now I can look at my curve. My third looks a little off. All right. Let's just see if this fourth gear makes it and see what time we do. Okay, our fourth is a little long, right? We weren't buried in fourth, so we can bring it back a little bit. Now, if you notice, we ran the exact same time. We ran the exact same time with the crappy gears on there. So what that tells me, if I'm running the exact same time with tune gears that I was with default gears, this might be closer to a 5-speed in the quarter. So let's just get let's just pull this fourth back 2 clicks and speed up these second and third a little bit, a little more acceleration. And let's see what we get. There you go. Look, done. That car's done. We're done for the quarter. I mean, there's really no need to tune it anymore unless someone beats you. And if someone beats you in it, then save this tune. Now you have this tune as a base. Now when you fuck up your tune, trying all your little tricks and stuff, you have something to come back to. But that's literally it. That's it. Like every freaking car. If you don't believe me, watch this. Watch this. I'm just gonna literally just start jumping in random cars. I'm in Ford right now. I'm just gonna just grab Fords. Look, all my cars launch the same. Look at this. Watch my first gear. You saw that? Down, up. Think it's a coincidence? Watch this. Let's just grab another one. That one's a little boggy. So since that one's a little boggy, just go in here and a little acceleration on first gear. It's still a little boggy. Let's see. Give some more acceleration. Actually, no. This is a mild tune, but launch is the same. To get her to launch here. See that low high? That was a little rough. This one definitely needs some work on it, but I'm just showing you something here. Like literally all my cars launch exactly the same, and it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Look. You saw that? Down, up, down, up. Call that the slingshot. Okay, and here I'll show you again. Like here, let me get let's get a car that likes to wheelie. For example, let's see here. Mercury. Let's go with this Mercury. All right, let's reset the default. Tire pressure depends on the track, but I keep mine between the front and rear between 29 and 32. Sometimes I'll go to 32.5. Sometimes I'll go to 33, but most of the time between 29 and 32. But let's see. We reset this to default. All right, so what's the first thing we're gonna do from now on? First thing we're gonna do. We just built our car. We have all the parts on it. We make sure our tunes reset the default. We're just gonna run it and see what our first gear does. The whole fucking tune is based off of that. Let's see. Okay, so we know that first gear is just all over the place. Way too much acceleration probably. Let's go ahead and do our normal or our base tune. So I like 31.5. So I'm gonna go 31.5. Get rid of the alignment. Get rid of the roll bars. Everything really soft. Raise the suspension up. Not going to touch the springs at all. Most of the time, the springs are good. So our lowest is 4.5 and a 4.7, but I'm going to round down to the closest whole number, which is a 0. So I'm going to go 4.4. I'm going to round this up to 6. I like to round up to whole numbers, not half numbers or anything like that. Oops, put it on 80. All right, now we're going to see what it does. And now we're already into gears already, unless it does some weird thing. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're flipping, and our gear is still too long, or too short, I mean. So let's do a couple things here. We're going to give a little bit of top end on there, see if we can see what happens. And since we know we're gonna flip, I'm gonna go ahead and just slam this in the front. Easy way. If your car's flipping, you either gotta slam the front ride height, or you gotta add a bunch of front rebound, like max the front rebound out to 13. If that doesn't keep it down, max the front spring out. That doesn't keep it down, lower the front ride height. If that doesn't keep it down, then you would start lowering the rear spring or the rear ride height. But you don't touch your rear spring or your rear ride height. You do the other things first. All right, let's see what it does. I shifted a little early. Okay, our gears are gonna be off. Ooh, wow. Let me run that again. Let's just see what it looks like. Hit the rev limiter. A 7991 right off the rip. Right off the rip. I hit the rev limiter, and these gears aren't. We don't even tune our gears yet. We just touched the final drive. So I think my final drive is still a little too much acceleration. I'm just gonna move it to top speed again. Uh, 315. Let's see what 315 does. Ooh, okay. I like that a lot, but I accidentally hit the rev limiter. Let's just run that back again. I got my volume turned down, so it's kind of hard for me to hear. See if I can hit that good shift. Shifted a little too early. And that's another thing. Shift timing is going to cut heaps off your time. Shifting perfect. Not hitting the rev limiter. Not shifting too early. You know, shoot for the red line. $7,958. Okay. We can save this, and we can see if it's going to be faster on a 4-speed or faster on a 5-speed. But you see, you don't have to do that much work to the suspension, guys. You really don't. You do on the mile. You do on the mile, and the reason why is because there are things you can do to the suspension, okay, that for some reason gives you more top end, and it's a freaking Forza thing. All right, there's no real life tuning to this. All right, so let's see. We know our fourth almost makes it, so let's see if that makes it a little bit. I'm gonna give these a little more of a touch to them. Let's see if that makes it. That fourth gear makes it. We can do another 58. If not, we'll bring it back and try a 4.5 or 5. Shifted a little early in first. But we made it. I can actually bring that fourth back another click if I wanted to. But that's the main thing, guys. The main thing. You want your first gear to slingshot. Just like this. Okay? Stop over-tuning your cars. You start with this method of suspension tuning in the rest of the tune. It works on everything. Okay? So what we got here? We got, you want the slingshot first gear, right? And 9 times out of 10, you want your gear that's crossing the finish line to be in the red line. The exception would be if you happen to have, let's say you have a tune that's tuned for the mile, a car that's tuned for the mile, right? And let's say that it runs the same time, that mile tune runs the same time as your quarter tune or faster, then you wouldn't have to worry about that, because you might be shifting into 5th gear or the 4th gear, you know, before the quarter mile, and so it's not gonna be flush over the line, right? Because it's not a quarter tune. But most of the time, if you tune your car to each track, it's gonna be faster than this using an overall tune. But if your overall tune is consistent, then you don't need multiple tunes. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. I hope you learned something. If you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate that. And be looking out for some Forza Motorsport 2022 stuff. You know, they got that reveal hopefully next month. Supposedly they're going to do some revealing on the game. Supposedly it's coming out this year, so definitely don't want to miss out on some of that content. But that's it, guys.